the week's breakdown.
Yeah.
Yay!
Curb your fucking enthusiasm. Come on.
Wow.
I am excited.
Number 128.
Yeah.
Sam is right there.
He's back.
Keith's right here. Luke's right there.
I'm over here.
And you're right
And
there.
you're right there.
Tyler.
That's
your
how
name.
Tyler's
What's your
right
name?
here.
That is my name. Hey guys, doing? What's up? What do
Doing
you guys
good,
want to
right?
talk about?
Another very light week.
I don't know. I kind of
Politics.
Yeah, let's not. Talk.
Yeah,
let's not
go
get
there.
there.
No, it's a good idea.
Just like saying, "Here, hold my beer."
I wanted to talk a little bit about like Game of Thrones lately. I also
That's
I'm
This
just
sounds
being an
just
asshole.
that's great.
so.
That's great.
I feel like we need
No,
to like
just
cut that,
purposely-
zoom in on
purposely
Sam's
being an
face
asshole.
for that, and just like
I mean, I figured. No offense.
Nah.
Is this weird thing? Not really about anything episode related, but it's just an interesting thought that came to my mind because I have a slight bit.
George R.R. Martin taking a bath
Yeah. I have a slight
Weird.
confession to make.
with his dick out.
weird.
So remember like 8 months ago or so when that leak came out on Reddit and it kind of had like here's what we think the plot for season 7 is going to be is, and like before that came out, like I looked at a bunch of things and a lot of sites were discrediting it and saying like this isn't real, and so I looked at it and I don't remember much from it. I remember some big things, and surprisingly some of the things that I do remember that they brought up that were like kind of innocuous at the time was they said episode 3 John and Danny meet, also episode 3 they sack Highgarden, and it said episode 4 was the battle that ended up happening, and so I'm like, oh, and then I'm just thinking, I was like, oh, this sucks, because then I remember 2 other things that they happen. They're big things, and I feel bad because now I know next time to not do that. Because even though like I kind of knew like the thing that was happening with like Highgarden, that didn't detract from how good that sequence was in a lot of ways. Mm-hmm. And so these 2 things, I don't doubt that they'll still be great to watch. I'm not going to say anything. I'm purposely not saying anything because I'm like, because I hate that like I hope
Now you know.
I kind of hope they're not true, because there's some things that like that I do remember that ended up not being true. Like they said that there was going to be stuff with the Ironborn and the Sand Snakes going to Dorne in this coming episode, and I'm like, that's not gonna happen. So it wasn't completely right, because I think all of it was based off of set photos and where they saw people. So I'm just like, So I know better next time. But I still like didn't anticipate a lot of things. Like a lot of people were just guessing that John and Danny were gonna get along, and and they were gonna team up to save the world, and that's not how things are happening. So
No.
that's like, I thought that was interesting, because after last week's episode I was like, even though it was really cool and that was like one of the best episodes of Game of Thrones ever, I was like, uh-oh.
Yes.
So I think it kind of sucks that we're already over halfway done and there's only 3 episodes left.
Yeah.
Which I thought was really interesting, because I think MTV's trying to make a play to steal viewers from Game of Thrones by having the VMAs the same night, and like you're not gonna do it. Like
No.
you're
not
gonna
gonna
suck.
win that.
No, you're not winning that fight.
Actually,
at all.
viewership for Game of Thrones has went up every season, but last week's episode was the highest rating and most viewed episode of Game of Thrones ever.
So it's
Beating this premiere, which at the time was the highest for season 7. So they're not going to win.
No,
Especially after the high that everybody was on after last episode.
kind of.
No fucking way.
I saw a post on the Chive the other day, and it really didn't contain like spoilers per se, but it was talking about Arya's list and who yet remains.
there's only technically 2, maybe 3 people left.
But they had more on because they that weren't in the books anyway. Beric, Dondarrion,
Is he on her list?
for selling Gendry,
He might be. Yeah.
Thoros, because in order for Arya to actually kill Beric, Thoros needs to be out of the picture. The Hound, surprisingly,
The Hound was on her list. I don't know where he
is
sits
not might not any longer be on the list, but then it was like,
And
then
then
here's who was on the list, and
There's dead. And then
is
there's
now dead.
And then there's Cersei in the mountain, and that's it.
Yeah.
That's basically everybody. But yeah. Yeah, I'm curious to see where the next couple episodes go. My only problems that I have with so far with this season, and I talked with you about it, is how they keep playing up that Dany's going to become a villain, or is she going to become a villain? I'm kind of getting tired of that. They just kind of keep hammering that on the head, and in some ways, I feel like her and Jon's character, for the sake of drama, are kind of being one-dimensionalized. In the sense of how hyper focused Jon is on beating the White Walkers, which I understand. That's the real threat. That's the real problem that people need to deal with. But at the same time, he's like not even willing to be like, yeah, we should probably maybe get rid of Cersei because that's just going to be an issue trying to fight a war on two fronts. And at the same time, Dany's supposed to be somebody fighting for the people, yet she's willfully being ignorant of the potential problems in the North. And it's like, I get you're doing it for, and I get that even why they're going this way, but it's like kind of sacrificing a little bit of their characters for this.
Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe it'll change. But
who knows? I like how Cersei last episode dropped the Golden Company.
That's interesting.
So I thought it was interesting that, one, they're not even remotely probably going to do it how it's done in the books, and two,
there's a character they're probably not going to bring in with that.
Yeah, there's multiple characters that are pretty fucking cool, and how in the books related to the Golden Company. That's not.
I have a feeling. I wonder if that's just like a fan servicey name drop thing.
Yeah, but they probably. Maybe I don't know, but they also they probably replace those characters with characters we already know.
Yeah,
like Jorah Mormont's probably John Connington. Jon Snow's probably Aegon Targaryen. That's probably how that's going to go.
Also, the other thing is that somebody pointed out that was really interesting is, I mean, I know that the Golden Company is basically mercenaries, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But they were founded by not a Blackfire, but by a Targaryen bastard. So wouldn't there be the? I mean, it might not happen in the books, but I could see maybe for purposes of the show, maybe that they would just kind of not be all for killing a Targaryen in a way. Maybe.
Well, that's the thing. In the books, they're not that way. Like in the books, they're going to go find Dany, and that's because that's what they want, and that's what they know, because of that connection.
Yeah, so it's like,
but the shows might do it differently. I don't know.
Be interesting. It's weird how, and again, I think where the season is at now comparatively to where it was at the end of last season. At the end of last season, it's like, oh, damn, Cersei's going to get trampled.
Yeah.
And now it's like,
yeah, I don't know about that.
Cersei's actually kind of scary. Yeah, she's kind of slightly unhinged, sitting on top of a massive amount of wildfire.
Mm-hmm.
I also find myself questioning on how either the big fan servicey thing would be for Jaime or Bronn to switch sides. And in some ways, I'm just kind of like, after last episode, I'm like, how would that even happen? Like after Jaime just watching Dany burn people alive with a dragon, how are they possibly gonna write it in that he is convinced to switch sides in any way? It's like, how do you do that? So I'm just, it's
he
gonna
did
get
serve
interesting.
one mad Targaryen.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. I mean, Game of Thrones is always interesting, but I feel like even more so, it's more interesting because there's a bunch of different obvious paths. Because there's things like Ned Stark getting killed in the Red Wedding. That's like those were kind of out of left field and nobody thought they were going to happen. But now there's here's 4 or 5 different paths that the show could go, and they're kind of obvious, and it's like, I feel like that tension's even a little bit more, even though things like the Red Wedding were great, but it's like, here's all of these areas that we are aware that the show could go. Which one are they going to go with? And it's like, what? Mm-hmm. So,
yeah, I think that's kind of what makes the books, at least at this point, a little bit more exciting. To be honest with you, because you don't know where any of that shit's going to go.
You really don't, because we're still waiting on the Winds of Winter. And The Dream of Spring.
I mean, we're still waiting on it, but still, it's
even just
as predictable as the show is now, sort of thing. I mean, I still really enjoy the show. I still get super fucking excited. Like last week, I had fucking adrenaline. I was yelling, screaming at the TV. I was fucking
I could just tell.
Stoked.
I
I
could
was
just tell.
so excited.
You sent me that text, and I started watching the episode a little bit later. You're like, "How far are you?" I'm like, "Well, like 20 minutes in." He goes, and he's like, "You're gonna shit your pants." I'm like, "Uh-oh."
Yeah.
and then it got better because you see the Dothraki coming, and it's like, "Oh," and then you hear a dragon, and I'm like, "Oh." Like shit's about to get real.
What was about someone other than Danny muttering Dracarys or Dracarys?
No, it was her.
Oh, was it?
But they proved in this episode that dragons aren't indestructible in a way. So it's gonna get interesting. I feel like I say that a lot, but
you need to hit like a certain scale, with like a special arrow.
it's just like
Reference.
basically they just have like a giant crossbow. Is what it is.
Use shouts. Bring him down.
Bring them down to the ground and then just
hack the shit out of it.
and then you steal their soul.
I think that episode though, it also like it was great, but it also had a purpose of kind of softening up the audience a little bit. Of like, here are these fan favorite characters that everybody has loved, and some of them are going to die.
Yeah,
They have to, Who? It's like because they were this close, and it's like now next time that
I'm just
it's
curious
probably
because
gonna be
like
the
there's a
end
lot
for
of characters that have just kind of gotten forgotten about. I'm just
Now-
wondering when they're going to come back.
I know the show is different from the books, so I know you're reading the books right now. Kind of want your opinions on who will remain standing once everything is said and done. Who will survive?
I feel like we talk about in terms of the show or the books. I feel like the show is more willing to if the three main characters of the show are Danny, Jon, and Tyrion. I feel like at least two of them are going to make it in a lot of ways. Whereas in the book, I can see maybe only like Jon making it or something. Or I mean, then again, we don't even though I assume it's true. Even then again, if I'm not mistaken, we don't know if he is going to come back in the books. I mean, I assume that the writers of Game of Thrones are a little bit in the know, and so they were aware of that. But then who knows? What if he's just not even a factor anymore?
Who, Tyrion?
No, Jon.
Oh, Jon.
What if he's just not? It's like so. I could see the books going more out there and being like, yep, everybody, this character,
Everybody
fuck this character.
dies.
Yeah, fuck this character. But the show, I feel like is going to play it a lot more safe, and it's going to be like at least two of them are going to make it. I wouldn't be surprised if maybe Tyrion dies. Is what I was thinking.
I'm honestly going to be a little bit hurt if Tyrion dies.
I'm not gonna say it won't suck.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, out of him, Jon, and Danny, I feel like he would be the
Out of the big
most
three, I think he is my favorite character. Just because he's...
everything that comes out of his mouth is pure gold.
Yes, and he's not a fighter. He'll fight if he has to, but he solves his problems in a very neat way. He has a very interesting approach to things. I love his personality because what does he do? I drink and I know things. And that is probably one of the greatest lines to sum up a character ever. So, anyway.
We'll see. Next episode's called Eastwatch. Hopefully some stuff happens with the Night King or something like that.
They're just gonna march around the wall. The lake's frozen. They're just gonna go around. Wouldn't that be some shit? The fucking Army of the Dead literally just goes around the wall.
Why not?
I thought the wall went all the way to the sea.
Yeah, but what if it's frozen over?
I thought the sea didn't get frozen.
What if it did? Well, also if you look
They
at
swim.
maybe they can't swim. I don't think they can swim.
Yeah.
But like in the opener, in the opening sequence, it looks like it's frozen over. So it's like what if nobody thought of that possibility? I'm like, it'd be a little cheap. It'd be funny. It would probably piss me off. So I hope that's not the case. But
Yeah.
Winter is coming. Winter is here.
Yeah. I want to talk about Hellblade. Sam, you've played Hellblade. I've played Hellblade.
I only played a couple hours of it.
I've only played
But-
about an hour, but I want to have a chit chat.
It is what I thought it would be. Like, it's not a surprise. It didn't blow me away because it it's right where it should be in terms of quality. I mean, it is good quality for what it is for such a small team, but it is kind of exactly what they said it was in a way. So
yeah.
I'm glad that they were, you know, in a way they were very upfront and honest about the game and saying what they wanted to make, and I feel like they achieved that. But it's not something that really surprised me in terms of like, oh, I didn't expect that, because they kind of were. I watched a lot of the developer diary things and all of those, so I kind of saw some portions of the game, like small portions of the game. So it is kind of exactly what I saw. You know, it's exactly what is on the tin, I guess. The one thing, two things that I'm not crazy about with the game. One is sometimes the combat and the camera, because I found it sometimes to be easy to get backed into a corner and just like stun locked and hit over and over, and you can't dodge. Like in some games you can kind of dodge like through enemies almost, like the dodge will give you some leeway on movement, but in this game it doesn't, which is cool. But at the same time, it's just sometimes combat it's difficult, which I like, but that's not what I'm talking about, the difficulty. It's just the camera sometimes can put you in a precarious situation. I did get out of it, but there were like, I think twice I was just backed into a corner and I literally couldn't move any which way, and you know, I would try to attack and they would block it, and there would be like two guys there and they just like, you know, double teamed me hard in the corner. But that wasn't a great experience. Make it three things, I guess. The one thing isn't really about the game, it's totally separate. The other thing is sometimes the puzzles aren't... I like games that give you the freedom to kind of find out things on your own and don't really explain things to you, because you really get to think like, okay, what is this? Where is this going to be? I get to find out things, but sometimes when a game doesn't give you... You are sometimes unaware of the limitations, or the kind of the limitations. You're unaware of like the rules of the world. So sometimes when you're looking for puzzles, you can just drive yourself crazy. There was one that drove me crazy. It was on the ground. I was looking around. I didn't know the rules of it, so I'm just constantly looking at trees, because so far it's only been trees. I'm looking at posts. I was walking around for a good like half hour, maybe plus, just like looking at everything, and I'm just like, okay, where the fuck is this thing? So I'm walking around here and I see all the runes floating around me. I'm like, okay, it's got to be here. And I guess learning some of that stuff is part of the process, but it doesn't do anything good for gameplay experience.
No,
I guess.
Like, it's not fun to learn it.
Yeah,
like afterwards you don't go, oh yeah, that was kind of cool. You know? You're just like,
and that's the one thing that I disagree with. Like when you get to like game reviewers that are like, oh well, I found the puzzles to be very different, and I liked exploring and finding things out. Like that sounds cool when you say it like that, but when you're actually in the game and something like you don't understand the rules of the game yet, just that experience will let the game drag, you know, for a half hour, and you're not moving, you're not progressing, you're wandering around circles looking for a fucking R. Yeah. And and it's frustrating, I think.
Yeah, I agree. Like the one I did, it was kind of like a why. I don't know if you've done this one yet. I don't know which door did you go through?
I went through Cert, the fire giant.
Yeah, me too.
The one on the right side, I think.
Yeah.
It's the alges. It's like the up like a Y with a thing in the middle. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was looking around and I was like, this is just pissing me off. Like I don't fucking know where it is. And then I finally like got it just by chance, and I'm like, I didn't even feel satisfied. I'm like that's fucking stupid. Like that's just the way they light up. I was like, nah.
Did you find it, or did it like you kind of got near it in the game, like guided you toward it?
Sort of.
No. Yeah.
I mean, I just literally just kept holding in.
Because sometimes you're like, I don't know what the fuck to do.
Exactly.
Like you hit a wall, and it's like it's cool, but at the same time, it's not as fun as it could be. You still have to you still have to worry about a game being fun and enjoyable because games are entertainment. You know?
And call me a dumbass. I was stuck on the first puzzle for like 10 minutes. The first door you have to open like that.
Oh yeah, like the first
I was
puzzle.
so fucking lost. Like the shape shows up on the screen. I'm like, okay, and the shape's on the door, and I'm like, okay, that's probably what you gotta do. You just gotta line it up perfectly, or whatever, and see it. And then I was just so fucking frustrated. And then I just turn around, and it's like, oh, it's a shadow on the wall from the light, and I'm like, okay, that makes sense. But you couldn't like. I get that the game practically has no UI at all. Like there's just nothing.
Yeah, there's
on
no
screen,
HUD. I like
fine.
that.
Me too.
Really cool.
But I think at least for that first puzzle, there's nothing wrong with just putting a hand up that says, "Look around your environment to help you solve these puzzles."
I mean,
that just eases the player in and makes them go, "Oh, okay. Now I know when I see this, I just really need to scan around the environment instead of just fucking standing there forever." And, I might just be a jackass, but
that
still.
guy's voice that you kind of run into, I think he said something about it, but the only reason I really knew is because, like, again, watching the developer diaries and some of that stuff, like where they show off clips of the game, I'm like, okay, so I just need to line this up with something in the environment. That's the only reason I knew. Mm-hmm. But I guess if you didn't watch that, you're kind of like, what do I do? And it is I guess a process that just isn't that fun at first and can bog the game down, but I think overall it's not the worst offense a game can have. No. It is just it is something that how do I say it? It is cool, but there is a downside to it, which it's a risk I think to do in this game, and I did like that they kind of took a risk like that, because my third complaint about the game isn't something about the actual game. It's kind of all of the things before the game, the game director talking about, like, the one thing that did bother me that he said, like, after playing the game for a little bit, is the game director, I don't want to necessarily say he was talking shit, but I do kind of want to say he was talking shit on, like, AAA games, where it's like, yeah, there are a lot of AAA games, and, like, in AAA games you have, like, this section, like, here's the combat section, here's the puzzle section, it's just things that you expect, and we kind of want to create our own game. And I'm thinking, like, as I'm playing the game, it's like, this is so sectioned, almost. Like, you go through, and it's like, you go through the cert door, and it's like, all of these puzzles that you end up running into are going to be, like, the same throughout, so you're doing the same thing over and over, and you run into, like, this big open area, like, okay, this is a combat area, because it's, like, this big open area, and it's almost like, I kind of felt like, I just don't like when people say things like that, kind of like, going back to Sean Murray and No Man's Sky, like, some things I just don't like people saying, kind of talking their game up. Like, it's good that you can do that, and that's cool, but at the same time, like, don't, because I go into the game kind of looking for that. Like, okay, I want them to surprise me. Like, combat's just random going to happen, and, like, things are going to feel natural and not, like, sectioned off. But I'm playing the game, I'm like, okay, here's this section, here's this section, okay, there's another one of these sections. I'm just like, some of that stuff is just unavoidable in games, because you are going to get to certain sections of games, because games, it's not like you can create the most diverse game ever. Like, every game has, like, things that repeat itself. I don't know. I just wish he didn't say that, And I just kind of took it as, like, well, you talk shit on, like, AAA games, but there's, like, a reason that stuff is done a lot. It's just because it works,
Yeah.
But that was just me. There are games like The Last of Us that do have, like, combat sections, I guess, but that's unavoidable in a game. But I think as a game, it really didn't rely on, like, okay, here's this puzzle section, we're going to do, like, repeating things, like, common things throughout the game. But that's a really hard thing to do. The Last of Us is, like, a fucking game all the way up on a pedestal, Yeah. It's like a once-in-a-lifetime thing.
Now, I haven't bought the game yet. And it's kind of one of the games I'm really on the fence about purchasing. Would you say it's worth the buy, or kind of maybe wait until it's, like, on sale and cheap?
I think it's worth it because of what we haven't talked about yet, is I find the story to be fascinating. I love what they did. This game tackles mental health and stuff with the main character, which video games just don't touch a lot.
Yeah.
And I think they do it fairly well. Like the first credit that pops up is their mental health advisor and their historical advisor and stuff. And playing the game, the developer recommends you play it with headphones. And I usually don't play games that way, but I'm like, fuck it, I'll do it this way. It is absolutely, I cannot picture any other way of playing this game like that, without headphones. Because, I mean, props to whoever did the fucking audio design for this game. I mean, it's insane. It's like serious, like, ASMR shit. And you can tell they're getting closer. Yeah, and that's the thing. She has voices in her head all the time, so there's just voices constantly going off. But if you have that headphones just going straight in, like, you start to sort of get a weird feeling, and the game makes you feel kind of almost uncomfortable playing it, which I think is a good thing in a way.
It seems like
it's
if
cool.
That's the case, then like the game was designed to give you that uncomfortable feeling, and
it's fascinating, and I think so far it's done really well, and I'm excited to see where they take that sort of thing. And then also, like, this is basically a AAA game on a smaller scale, in a way, like smaller budget, smaller price point, and I think that's cool, and I think that's important for video games.
From the sound, it's like a 6 to 8 hour game.
Yeah, that's what they made, but it's $30, you know. And
so
like,
it's a game
cool.
like you could, if you really wanted to sit down and grind it out, you could probably knock it out in a day.
Yeah, and like you're getting this interesting story. It looks beautiful. I mean, I think it's worth it for what it does. Right, like the combat is so. It's not awful, but it's not.
It can
great.
be really good sometimes,
Yeah.
but yeah.
The one thing I like about the combat is that you will kill an enemy and you don't know where the next one's coming from. So it might be right behind you, and that might be a bad thing because you might get put in a corner or whatever. But if you're not, like, it's like, all right, I killed that one, and it's like, whew, there comes a sword strike, and you're like, holy shit! And then you're just backing up, and there's like all these fucking noises going on. It's like, it's nerve wracking, but it's awesome.
And you hear like voices in your head sometimes saying like, "Oh, behind you."
Yeah,
so, like,
and they're fucking with you. And there's nothing behind you.
Yeah,
And
sometimes there are things that you just never really know. Yeah.
Yeah, and like in the beginning of the game, like the beginning's a little slow where she's just kind of rowing the boat or whatever, but still, it's like fascinating because
very
it's
atmospheric.
Like, yeah, and in her head, there's like multiple voices going on. One's like, "What are you doing? Go back! Like you shouldn't be going." And the other one's just like, "Go ahead" or whatever. And then she just kicks the boat and like, "Fuck it, let's go." And it's a fascinating game. I think the puzzles are 100% the weakest part of it, and I think they're just kind of mood killers in my opinion, because you're just going, you're going through the environments. It's a fairly linear game and stuff. But
Might have to check it out at some point, but maybe later in the year.
Cool.
Maybe later in the year once I have less shit to play.
I do really like the story, but in some ways, I just feel like a portion of it is just a retelling of Norse mythology, which is cool, and I like that. But at the same time, it is an original story, but it is a lot of it is based on something that isn't original in a way. Mm-hmm. But I like their telling of it. You know, it's like a Hannah Montana best of both worlds kind of thing.
And I know they're going to be different games, but in a way, this game's got me kind of excited for God of War.
Yeah.
With its camera perspective and all that stuff. I'm like, all right, bring it on. You know? Yeah, it's an interesting game.
I'll have to check it. Actually, I'll have to check it out. I mean, my whole thing was like, this is a game that I wasn't really on my radar, and then I didn't know like how impressive you guys were saying it's a fairly short game, and it's also not $60. So it's like, oh, okay, you know what I mean? That's not that big of a deal.
There's no likelihood of me picking it up sooner. Right?
Yeah, it might be like a holiday.
If it goes on if it goes on sale really cheap Black Friday, I'll definitely.
I mean, it probably won't go super cheap. It might drop down to like $25, $20.
If it drops down like $20, deal sold. I will pick it up. But yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
You got anything else?
I was watching a little bit of the Overwatch World Cup
And how, like, was it the Koreans or whatever that were just
I
kind
didn't
of like...
watch. I watched the USA versus New Zealand match. New Zealand got their butts kicked.
But,
very, very, very badly.
apparently
I
the
forgot
South
that was
Koreans
going
are
on
just
now.
picking, like, all these troll characters and still just wiping the floor with teams.
Troll character. So I'm assuming. I'm assuming they're playing on PC.
The only
too,
character
so.
they have not used yet is Anna. I'm pretty sure.
Oh.
But they've used, like, everybody
Proof
and
that
are
no
still
one uses it.
Is
wiping.
that's proof of nobody.
They're
I'm
using
trying.
weird combinations
I'm
of
trying.
characters.
I was
it's not
trying
going
the other
well.
day too.
It's not going well, but I'm trying.
I got like 9 eliminations with her, which I felt was like a big
that's
accomplishment.
good
Yeah.
for like. She's just such a weird character.
She's not a
Yeah.
damaging character, and that's kind
You
of
have to really
weird.
like sniping.
I'm not the best.
Yeah.
It's the thing too. The only thing that would save me playing as her is the fact that her healing bullets have a little bit of splash damage, and the hitbox is very generous. It's the
Yeah.
only
Oh,
thing
yeah.
because otherwise, like, I couldn't. And like I'm trying to get good as like a lot of those characters that I never really play as. Like like I understood like being good at Zarya means you're broken. They've patched McCree, so I'm trying to get good as him. And
Yeah.
I've been playing as like Fair and a lot of these other characters that I just never play as because I kind of play like 10 characters. And it's like, all right, then let's try to
I have
play
my
a few
go-to
more.
characters, and then I have, like, I'm trying to experiment with others. Like, I'm starting to experiment with Zarya, and I did okay the other night.
Also trying to relearn Roadhog since he's a different character now.
Roadhog's gone, man.
Yeah.
He is.
Rest
He's,
in
I was
peace,
reading that.
he's,
like,
he's a different character. So I'm trying to learn
we
how to do
can
it.
more. I think we need to mourn the hog.
Yeah.
Because
He's a good like outside tank. Like you're not going to win getting in the thick of things.
yeah,
You're not even going to win most of the time going 1-on-1. So if you can just pick people off,
Yeah.
that's kind of like the best way to play as him anymore. Whereas before you could just walk into a room and just not have to worry about shit.
yeah, just hook everybody and shoot them in the face, and
I just wish maybe you could still, if like you got a headshot, still one-shot people.
yeah.
That would be nice, but we can't have nice things anymore.
No.
Yeah.
They'll nerf him, but then they won't like make Widowmaker better. And they
They
will.
won't make Winston better.
They need
Which
to wait-
really
those
bothers
are-
me. I know I
those are
bring
the
that
two-
up all the time.
Those are the two
but,
characters
like,
that I feel like they need to like make just a little bit better. Because like Anna could be good if you
yeah.
know how to play as her. I just don't know how to play as her.
I feel like Zenyatta needs an additional ability.
I think Zenyatta's fine. I think he's.
Yeah.
I do. I mean,
He's fine.
I wreck as Zenyatta. So like I don't.
I mean, I do all right. I do pretty good with Zenyatta too. I just feel like he's just because he can't do a lot of healing. He can't do a lot of damage.
I do pretty well,
but he
if you
does.
load up
But
the
he does.
five
But I
shots.
think he's the best at like that, which is like
Yeah.
if you're
He's
like
a great attack support.
Yes,
yeah, like he's good at like.
but he just needs something a little more on the attacking end,
I don't know. I'm usually.
or he
alright
needs
with
like a
him.
dash or something. I don't know.
I feel like that would go against what his design. I like.
That would give him a little too much.
Yeah, because like
he's kind of balanced where he is.
I mean, because like they finally fixed him. Was it at
support
first you was it at first you didn't like I forget, was it that you couldn't die before, like really early on when Zenyatta used his ult, and then they made it so that it just gives you a lot of health, or was it you could die and now it's like I forget how it was, but like they did change it, and I think Zenyatta's at a good place.
Yeah.
I just think like I had two ideas for like Widowmaker because she's the one that I think more so needs it. Make her assault rifle just a hair more powerful, and then just add a thing. Make her ult while her ult's up. People take 20% more damage while her ult's up. That'll make her ult at least somewhat useful because her ult's fucking useless.
It is.
So just like boom, people they take a little bit more damage when her ult's up.
The one thing about that is, though, like for the casual person, I totally agree with that. But then watching competitive, you see a lot, like every match has a Winston for some reason. So I look at that, I kind of got this new perspective of like, if they changed Winston, the people that are like super competitive or like professional players, that could make Winston really OP. Somehow I could give him an edge there. But for casual players, I really want like a more of a reason to play Winston.
Yeah,
And same with Widowmaker, but I guess like for people that are way up there in skill, they're balanced enough, I guess.
I think for the two
Which is a
things that I
weird
think
thing.
with that, I think that just fixing it just a little bit because because then for most it would be better to fix it for most people, but then also in some ways I feel like because from most of what I hear, Overwatch on PC, which I'm assuming is where these competitive people are playing it, and on console is a completely different game. So why hold both games to the same standards? Like, apparently Widowmaker's not bad on PC because, you know, it's easier to aim with a mouse. So why not just buff her on console? Make her better on console.
And they've done that.
You know what I mean? Like, but I mean, like,
characters.
just on console. Like,
we'll get a mouse.
If you're never
get a mouse and keyboard, look at that.
If there's never gonna be any crossplay, because there probably won't.
Yeah.
You know, why do they both have to be?
Can you set up a mouse and keyboard on the PS4?
I don't even think
I'm sure you can. I thought they had PlayStation attachments for that. At least I thought they did with like
I know you
PS3. You could get like not PlayStation brand, but like outside off other brand.
Yeah, it's just like
wired up.
I just don't get why if there's not crossplay, why do they have to be beholden to the same standards? You know what I mean? Like if
equality.
But then it's not equal, because if Widowmaker's really good on PC, but she sucks on console. I mean, I'm not going to deny that I've ran into some good Widowmakers. It's just that the learning curve is fucking steep. Which I get it. She's a sniper. The learning curve should be a bit steeper, but like, I don't know. Just make it a little more fair. That's why I said don't make her... Most people don't use the assault rifle. That's why I said make the assault rifle a little bit better. That way it's like, oh, you run into an oh shit moment, you can actually have a chance at surviving.
Yeah, or make Roadhog better. Again.
Just
make Roadhog great again.
Yeah. Deathmatch is coming to Overwatch. We're going to get team deathmatch and free-for-all. And if there's a Mercy on your team that resurrects some homies that takes points away from the other team. Several maps are being modified just for the mode, and there's going to be a new map added just for the mode. So yeah,
that is probably something I'm never gonna play.
I'll do it for the loot box. I'll do it for the loot box.
I'm not sure.
It's only an arcade. It's only an arcade.
Yeah.
The best thing about Overwatch is that it's not every other FPS.
I don't know who the fuck was asking for this. Why they're putting it
more
in,
so. I can
whatever.
somewhat maybe sort of understand TDM. Who is asking for free for all?
Yeah, exactly.
That's the one that I don't understand. Like, I can get kind of TDM because sometimes it's just like
people that play Soldier 76.
Yeah,
want to play like the Call of Duty kind of.
It's like because like I kind of get it because like sometimes I've been in matches where it feels like, hey, we're doing a lot of killing, but somehow we're not
winning.
You know what I mean? But they're be posted up better and they're winning. But it's like, you know, I just don't get free for all. Free, like, I can sort of understand TDM. Free for all, I'm just like, what the fuck?
Yeah. I'll play it
right game.
when it launches. I'll get probably my free loot box from winning a match, and then I'll probably bounce. I don't want to play Overwatch.
Especially if you get in one of those matches of someone that's just put all the time into a Genji. That's oh my god.
Or just like or any kind of character.
You had like 3 Genjis jumping around the map. That's a fucking nightmare.
I mean, you could probably take a solid third of the characters from Overwatch and just throw them out the door.
Yeah. No,
you know,
maybe a Symmetra just to be funny.
Yeah, Torbjorn would be, but most of the, well, I mean, about the only no, because Bash.
Well, Torbjorn could be if you find a place for the turret and you just hunker down.
You just hunker down. I'm like laughing internally right now because I'm thinking somebody playing as Mercy in free for all, and I'm thinking about that. I'm just like, that's a great idea. Just fucking go on and just use your fucking pistol, and then you get free health because you just regenerate health.
Yeah,
arm assist.
Mm-hmm. Also, Lucio Ball is going on right now in the summer games.
It's both the most frustrating thing and sometimes some pretty fun, but it's really frustrating.
It's so frustrating not playing that game mode with people you
can communicate
talking to, because like today I had this most stupid shit happen. Tied 1-1, 30 seconds left. I was stuck being goalie the entire match. I have my ultimate. I'm going to go out there and I'm going to try to fucking score and win this fucking match. I go out there, my teammates, obviously, they have to see me go, or whatever. I almost get it in, but the other team shoots it back out. And then I turn around and the ball's just slowly rolling into our goal. No one peeled back to get it. They just fucking stood around. And you saw one of the matches when he came over, like, I was goalie, and my team just hung around midfield the entire fucking match and didn't even go for it at all. It's like, there's just some really jackasses playing. I'm not, like, being super competitive. I just want to play it
I just want the loot
in an
box.
actual smart way. You know, and like just hang around midfield, go fucking play something else. Like just go after it, get on the ball, defend the goal.
Go
like,
play Rocket
yeah,
League.
it's just
My
just
thing
frustrating.
that I kept running into is that there's a lot of people who just aren't playing. Like
Yeah,
they'll just
that
rubber band
too.
their controller. I was telling these guys, I literally played a game yesterday where only 2 people were playing, and that was me and another dude on our team. The entire other team wasn't playing. Either they were running into a wall or spinning in a circle, and the other guy on our team was just spinning in a circle. So we instead had a meta game on who could score the most goals between me and this other guy on our team. We found out that there's a max of 10 goals that you can score because we were done in like a minute and a half because we would just run up, hit it, and like there's so many times where I'm playing, like if I play by myself, there'll be somebody on my team who's just spinning in a circle or running into a corner, and it's like, well, what's the point? Like, we're going to lose because either we're not going to have a goalie or we're going to have one person pushing up, and it's like, is there even a point?
Yeah. And it's not even like the most exciting game mode. It can be
It's
a little
fun.
dry. But I think if you have people to play with,
Yeah,
like that you can actually strategize a little bit and communicate a little bit, like it can be a fun.
I have a little bit more fun just because I'm better at this than I ever was
Good,
in
bro.
Rocket League.
Yeah. I was sick like a week ago, and I'm still, but I don't
Getting
know.
over it?
I'm over it, but it's just my lungs got all fucked up and shit.
Because there's less finesse in Lucio Ball than Rocket League, so like I'm
Smoking
good at it. But like, so I enjoy it. But like, I can understand like, yeah, if you really enjoy Rocket League, Lucio Ball might not be the thing. And it's okay. It's just that it's really frustrating sometimes.
Definitely. All right, let's talk about Middle-earth Shadow War quick. This is a kind of a week-old story that a lot of people are talking about, but it is a little bit of a fucked up story. So Middle-earth,
Microtransaction thing?
yeah. So Middle-earth Shadow War is going to have microtransactions in it. It's a single-player game, or so you thought. Basically, in the game, you're recruiting army, orcs, loot, all kinds of shit to take over fortresses. You can, with this stuff, you can buy orcs, you can buy items to upgrade your equipment, you can buy loot boxes to get more loot. There's a whole bunch of shit that you can buy to just win the game, pretty much. Now, there is a social mode where you can invade other people's games and take over their shit.
Like mobile, what's
Mobile Strike?
What's the popular mobile game? Something of war or something.
I don't know.
Fuck. Let me look it up quick.
Yeah.
Gems
But
of War. No, it's not it.
James War.
I said Gems of War.
Yeah.
That's not
To
it.
me, this is like one of the grossest uses of microtransactions because one, it's a single player game, and two, like, yeah, you can opt out of that stuff if you want, but that's
Clash of Clans.
that's clearly pay to win.
Like,
Abso-fucking-lutely.
like here's my that's like my issue with it, which is like, if you're gonna have that thing, we should bring other people's
No,
games.
hold on. The you remember the commercial, like
Game
the
of War?
advertisements with game with Kate. I like how I do this for Kate often.
Yeah.
But she
Yeah,
knows.
like-
I mean,
Like if the like that game mode where you can invade other people's, which would be cool if there wasn't microtransactions, because now it just basically makes it there's no point in doing it because the
Exactly.
people are going to want to do it or that. And I get it that it's like it's not like what was the last comment that I saw that Monolith said is that if they said, in which I don't know why they had to throw this little thing in the beginning. They said at this time you do not have to be online to play this game. I was like, why did you have to throw at this time? Don't like I get it. Like there are benefits to being online all the time, but like not everybody's up for that. Don't force it down people's throats, man.
Yeah.
Like I get it. Like I mean that was the whole thing when the Xbox One launched. Yes, there are benefits, but not everybody can be online all the time,
Yeah.
which is the issue.
To me, with this stuff, like, you do one or the other, but you can't do both. You know?
I can maybe.
I mean, I'm not okay even with the microtransactions if they didn't have this social multiplayer component. I think it's still a little fucked up that in your single player game we're getting this stuff. And I'm okay with microtransactions when they're cosmetic. I think they're fine in Overwatch. In Overwatch, you want to pay to get skins and loot boxes, that's fine because that's you is 100% cosmetics. You're not affecting the game at all. I don't give a shit. You know, that's fine. But like, this stuff's just a little weird. Like, hey, you don't have time to fully experience our game? Give us $40 more and you'll get good shit, and you can just roll right through it.
That raises a really big red flag for me, because in a way,
what if they just make the games that you have to buy?
I remember watching a video years ago on YouTube. I can't remember the guy. I can't think of it right now. But some guy on YouTube that was talking about like the possible future of microtransactions. And he was saying that like microtransactions and buying expansions and DLC, he really sees a problem with that, because at least when it comes, like, single player and multiplayer have different issues when it comes to microtransactions. Like multiplayer, the big worry is like pay to win, like Battlefront, where you pay a little extra and you get the best gun in the game. Yeah. EA Star Wars Battlefront, not the original Battlefront. But with single player, two really big concerns. It's just about one is about like games in general. Well, they're both about games in general. Is that I forget the one thing. But in a way, he said that he sees games becoming lazier in terms of development, because either they don't have the encouragement to finish games, like a Destiny situation. So in the future, you're going to see games that aren't complete games, and that's on purpose. I mean, Destiny wasn't exactly on purpose, because I think a lot of stuff with the development in that game, some things were on purpose, but you see games that are developed on purpose to feel incomplete. So it's in the consumer's mind that if I spend this extra $50, my experience will feel more complete, but you're never actually going to get to that complete feeling. It's kind of like this, it's always just this short reach away. And I feel like that could be a big problem, especially, I don't know, with a game like this. It does seem like it has a lot of components to it. It does seem like a pretty full game, and Shadow of Mordor was a really big game. But the other big concern about development of games, especially single player, when they have microtransactions, is making games just slow and grindy. And that, in a way, is lazy in development, because you're not putting in a lot of variety. You're just kind of reusing a lot of assets. You're doing a lot of like in Destiny with patrols and stuff. Yeah. You're using a lot of the same assets, so it kind of encourages less creativity and more grindiness in the game. So people are, in turn, it's like this shifty way of getting people to say, fine, I mean, I guess if it'll kind of get me moving forward, it's kind of like that free-to-play mentality where it's like, fuck, I don't want to just play this game forever. I'll just buy it, you know? Yeah. And that's like, I'm seeing that kind of now, and I'm worried about this game being kind of a grind. Because at least when we saw, like, when they showed off, like, the levels of different forts, and you saw, like, what was it, like 200 or something? Or whatever, 100 or something. I don't know the level system, but I look at that and I'm like, those levels seem kind of high. I don't know the level system in the game, but is this kind of seems like a thing now where it's like, this is going to be tough? Maybe if you buy this, it'll be easier.
This is me being the optimist that I sometimes am. I would hope that, like, you know, the gaming community in general, there would be a big enough backlash from something like that like, you know what I mean? People wouldn't buy into that shit. But, or you know what I mean? Or, like, even if it's just if just, I mean, it's never going to be 100%, but, like, if, like, this was the case in Shadow of War, they're just like, oh yeah, fuck, like that's kind of like what happened with, like, For Honor. People were, like, upset about the microtransactions. I kind of want to see where
that went, but the game itself just kind of died off, kind of like I thought it would.
That's kind of happened.
I wish I saw that kind of follow through.
Like, people, like, I feel like that's gonna happen. Now, maybe Shadow of War was far enough along that maybe you kind of, if that was their vision, you kind of can't change that. But at least from, like, I know, like, hopefully from, like, Ubisoft, they probably saw that and they're like, gotta watch out, you know, because it's like, sure, people buy it, but it's like, if you're, again, hankering on most of your income coming from forcing people to go into this, and people are just like, yeah, fuck that, I'm just gonna get rid of the game. and it's like that. Hopefully, that shit will get stopped in its tracks. But I mean, me being the optimist, I would think that hopefully this game doesn't go that route. Yeah. Because at least the way they talked about it, like the developer, I mean, even we mentioned the comment of you don't have to be online makes me think that like, okay, well then, I mean, if maybe, you don't have to play to win and stuff like that.
I also feel like the multiplayer aspect of this game is going to be a huge failure. It's quite possibly a mistake to even put the resources into it in the first place if they are in fact doing this.
It could be awesome.
Yeah, it does have that mobile game vibe to it, attacking other people's.
I was gonna say if there was like some, it'd be interesting if there was just like some kind of even though it never happened, some kind of like
some sort of meta mechanic
thing, or there's just some kind of mechanic where it's like, all right, somehow it just made it a bit more even, so it's not like I don't just buy 100 of the best
do
orcs,
something.
And it's like, here we go.
Maybe something like the Galaxy at War stuff from Mass Effect 3, where yes, you have this single player world and things like that you can do. It's fine. You don't even need to touch this multiplayer aspect to have a complete experience, but perhaps the multiplayer stuff would affect like the strength of certain fortresses and things like that in your single player campaign.
Or just like a balancing thing, like, it just knows, like, because at least from my perception that I got from watching stuff about this game, your levels, like your army is more based on what's in it.
Yeah.
So like if you buy all the best stuff, you're going to be a really high level. I'm sorry, I wouldn't, if like the level goes up to like 200, I'm sorry, putting a level 50 against level 200 doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. So if it was like somehow balanced in that way, that would be smart. Which then maybe that would save this. I mean, this is already a step in the wrong direction, but who knows? I like trying to be the optimist, but in this kind of situation, it's a little hard.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Let's talk about the company. One of the companies that's taking over the world. Disney.
Oh, yeah.
Disney. Streaming service.
Disney's going to launch its own streaming service and it's going to pull its movies from Netflix. In 2019, they're going to launch their own streaming service. Disney and Pixar titles will be removed from Netflix. Disney, when this launches, their initial lineup will be Toy Story 4, Frozen 2, and the live-action Lion King. Additionally, early next year, the company will launch its own ESPN streaming service that will feature video content from MLB, NHL, MLS, and more. Disney will also invest in exclusive TV shows and movies for the platform. They purchased a large stake in a company called BAM Tech that'll help them or whatever. And they don't know what they're going to do with their Marvel or Lucasfilms movies. They might still be on Netflix.
That was good.
But who knows on that?
Yeah, I heard that Netflix was trying to negotiate to keep that stuff.
Will this be successful?
Yeah, I mean, Disney,
It's
everything
easy.
Disney does, I think it's a great idea. I would like to, go, if they have their old catalog of movies, I would like to go back and,
watch
some movies that it's tough to find.
Yeah.
I think, unless, just really old Disney stuff,
Yeah, I mean, I know me and you've mentioned this a couple times, like Black Cauldron, which is a great,
it is a fantastic
movie that nobody...
You cannot find it anywhere.
You can't. I found one copy. In that Sunset place that was at the mall. There was one copy in there. Yeah, R.I.P. It does not exist anymore.
Suncoast.
They closed?
Did they
Suncoast.
Suncoast, that's what it was. It's a couple months ago.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
But...
Oh, that's a shame.
Because, also the other thing is, on Netflix...
What did they do with other movies?
I think they just tried to sell them all, and if
Yeah,
they didn't
they had
sell them,
like
they probably chucked them.
Sale.
Oh, well,
They probably incorporated them in the FYE stock because they're owned
Really?
by...
Because that show, wow, that store looks gutted.
Yeah.
Where the hell are they keeping it all? In the back? Well, maybe
Maybe
probably.
they send it back to corporate or something, sold it on eBay. Who knows?
The other thing though too with Netflix is that it'd be nice because I assume then and that thing kind of piggybacking off what you were saying, it would all be there. Whereas Netflix is always here's a couple of Disney movies and shows that are on here, and then those will go away after a while, and boom, here's new ones. Except now it'll be you can watch even the shitty ones. You can watch Aladdin 2, Return of Jafar.
This is going to be huge with kids.
Oh yeah.
Or like
especially
families.
if they have like Disney Channel shows and stuff like that that they can incorporate, like maybe limited, and they said they're going to invest in shows, which I'm not entirely sure what that means. I hope it's not like Disney Channel quality stuff.
I think it's just going to be like they're just going to get like to co-opt you to buy it. There's going to be
some kind of Star Wars show would be cool. Another animated thing that they could,
or even like a live action
thing
could be interesting.
if they that would be hard because the budget for that. It's like, but then again, Disney does have the money to throw around.
Disney just like wipes their ass with stacks.
Yeah. So
I've seen what they're worth on the stock market. It's quite significant.
I think it sucks that they're doing this, to be honest with you. I think it's cool to have Disney movies on the most popular streaming service for this stuff, but it makes 1,000,000% for them to do it.
Yeah.
And to make their own service. Because, they're
because
like...
people will buy into it. I mean, I'll admit, I'd think about it.
Well, not only that, but people of our generation are now starting families of their own, and we want to show our children the movies that we grew up with. So, having access to all of them in one place, in one service...
Is this your way of saying you're having a kid?
No. I hope not.
It's like,
I hope not right now.
I can see the fear. Well, not the fear, but like just the...
much fear I sense in you. Yeah, no, but I mean, like, let's face it, a lot of people we went to high school with have ended up preggers recently.
A couple of times.
So, like...
the ones that should...
I thought you were going to say something about this Disney thing. You're like, let's face it. A lot of people...
No, but like, as sad as it is today, some people of our generation are starting their families quite young. So, they're showing their children the movies we grew up with. Cell shade. But having access to all of that in one place, depending on price, because it's gonna have a price.
I mean, it can't be more than like $10. Otherwise, it's not gonna.
Yeah.
This is not gonna work.
But
$10 seems a little steep to me.
I mean, $10 is like that's how much everything is.
But
like, that's how much Netflix is. Like,
I think they could get away with like $7.99 because like all the money they've made on their like back catalogs of movies will definitely cover the
also
cost.
They could probably also do the Netflix thing and have different like packages. Like it's like
especially when all their newer movies. Like I don't think the movie's going to come like they're going to go to theaters. They're going to make a profit on that, and then they're going to like put it out like after the fact. So you can watch all the stuff. So they've already made all their money on like everything.
Plus, they're going to have all these ESPN stuff like that.
Yeah, Stephen A. Maybe
it could be an interesting. Well, who knows? Because I mean, it's a weird comparison. But like with WWE put out the WWE Network, and instead of now paying $25-$30 for a pay-per-view and doing that like each month if you want to watch them, now it's like here you $10. You get the pay-per-view each month, and you get all kinds of stuff, and it's like. You know what I mean? They could maybe, with the whole movies coming out, or at least that was my impression I got, was like, hey, you can go see this in movies, but if you have our thing, you can catch it. You can catch it, like, and it'll be up for streaming when that happens.
They said those new movies will be on the service about 9 to 10 months after.
They got to make their money first.
They got to make
that would be awesome.
That would be awesome because I mean,
or hey, for a limited time, like for the first week of its release, we're gonna have it up here. You might have to pay a little something to see it. But it won't be near as much as like going to a movie theater. But also, and then like take it down, and then 9 to 10 months later, put it back up for free.
Yeah, who knows?
I think on their end, it's probably pretty smart if they could get all those Marvel and Star Wars movies on this service. That's a big draw.
At least with Star Wars, I think Star Wars could be easy, but at least with Marvel, it's like they have like a deal with like every major streaming service, and I'm pretty sure there's got to be contracts involved. And I don't know how easy it is to back out of those contracts. Again, Disney probably has the money to throw around to buy out the contract and be like, here, we'll just give you this, and then just give us.
But it's also people know Disney's going to have money to throw around, so they're going to make it really hard for them to just put money in their pocket and go away. Because they'll be like, hey, we know you're going to pay us this, but we know you could really pay us this, so.
I mean, there's also no rush because like Netflix already paid them for the movie, so it's like
Well,
I'll just wait till it runs out.
The thing is that Netflix struck that deal with Disney to get all those movies and Star
It
Wars
took
and Marvel
forever for that deal to go
in
through.
2012, and those movies didn't start coming onto the service until last year.
Or like
Now
in
they're
waves.
pulling them
Like
out.
waves, yeah.
Like, that sucks. If I was Netflix, I would be fucking pissed, man. Like, damn. Be like, homie,
I think
what
it
you
also
doing?
kind of puts the pressure on Netflix to like, you know, if they're not going to have Disney to really go out and get some like, you know, to really get more movies and
content.
I mean, their like original stuff is sometimes hit or miss.
Yeah.
But, you know, they got to cover those few slots that Disney movies would take up, like going out and getting, you know, big movies. I
The
think.
movies is where they lack. In my opinion.
Yeah.
That's totally where that service
There are a
just
lot of
lacks.
like B and C and D
Yeah.
and sometimes F movies.
Yeah. Exactly.
But
in some cases, a literal B movie.
it's
Yeah.
like sometimes it's nice to see like the skeleton of a movie and see like potential and like if you want you could watch like I don't know, you could watch like 5 movies and they all have like something interesting, but it's not like a whole movie. You're not like I'm not like satisfied with that. You have to watch like 5 until you're like, okay, that's like worth one movie.
There's a lot of theater mode style movies. If you heard of the thing that Achievement Hunter does, where they watch terrible movies. They watch Thanksgiving. It's about a murderous turkey.
Didn't they watch The Room?
No, they didn't. They watched a movie called The Thingy, and apparently that's coming out soon. And apparently that movie is god awful.
Monster Truck.
They might have watched something like that.
I mean, hey, MST3K is up
They
on
watched
Netflix.
the first.
Transformers.
No, it was. I
Days.
think it was Nicole Aniston movie, like back in the day.
Isn't she a porn star?
Or somebody like that. Maybe I'm thinking of somebody else.
Jennifer Aniston?
No, not Jennifer Aniston.
Who
It's
the hell's Nicole Aniston? I'm pretty
she
sure
was
that's
friends.
a
No,
porn
no,
star.
no.
Nicole-
Nope. Sorry, got it back. I don't know why I thought her. Carmen Electra, first movie she was in.
Wait,
I don't know how I got that confused, but the
Wait a
Carmen Electra
second.
movie, the very first Carmen Electra movie. You're gonna find out if it's a porn star.
yeah.
You can find out how much porn I watch.
It's a porn star. Nicole Aniston. I exposed you in
Whoops.
live. What have you been watching recently, Keith?
Well, you showed us who you're following on Instagram now.
I did.
Who are you following on Instagram?
Brittany Amber.
Yeah, porn star. Is it?
Maybe just for the stupid pictures.
Oh, God.
I won't show the camera, but here
He's gonna show Sam.
I'll show Sam the picture that's on here. It's funny.
As long as it's not dirty.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy.
You might be in for a
Is there
treat.
like mustard on her vagina or something? Oh, God.
Anyway. it's
I have
I'm
nothing
not
to
gonna
hide.
go there. I can't go there.
Let's talk
wrap
about
this
some
up.
music.
Got music stuff.
I have something that's kind of fascinating, at least to me.
Enlighten us.
Spotify is not the top streaming service.
Yep.
Spotify is not the top streaming payout service for artists
Disney
in
Channel.
2017.
Disney streaming service. They're going to open Disney Spotify.
Is it like an old one,
Disney
or is
Prime.
it a new streaming service? You say they're not the top
Pandora?
one. Who puts out the most money?
Is it
There's
Pandora?
8 services on here that are listed out. Number 8 is YouTube.
Doesn't surprise
Makes
me.
sense, yeah.
That every artist makes 0.0006 cents per dollar, I guess,
Per view.
per stream,
6 thousandths of a cent.
or six thousandths of a dollar, I guess,
Yeah.
Oh, a dollar. Oh, shit.
maybe, or maybe it is a cent. I don't fucking know.
Yeah, that's
Cent.
it might be 10 thousandths, however it goes from
I don't know. Either, regardless, super small number. They have 1 billion users that use that service, so that's really fucking small. Number 7 is Pandora, 0.0011 per stream, 81 million users. Spotify comes in number 6,
Oh, fuck, I thought
0.0038
Huh.
with
Well, I mean,
100.
payout wise, yeah.
Yeah, with 140 million. Number 5 is Deezer. Never heard of it.
Never heard
Is
of it.
one of the top,
nuts.
the Kanye West one?
I don't
Is
know.
Last FM still up there?
Last FM's not on here. But Deezer's 0.0056 per stream. 16 million users. Number 4, Google Play Music.
Okay.
.0059 with 10 million users.
One of them's got to be the iTunes, right?
Number 3 is Apple Music
There it is.
at
Yeah.
.0064 with 27 million users. Number 2 is Tidal.
Yeah, that's Kanye's
Is it?
streaming.
Yeah, I've never heard that. With .0110 per stream, so that's not too bad.
Why do they need the
4
last
million.
zero?
So you get a cent per, basically a little over a cent per stream.
Almost, yeah.
But then again, I assume it's very. Well, then I don't know. I've never looked at it. Is it very selective, his streaming service? Like
I've never looked.
you never
at
looked
it.
at it? Okay.
I don't know. Number 1, Lars Ulrich is not happy.
Napster.
Napster.
Really?
with
I mean, Napster did clean up their
Hold
act.
on,
after the whole-
Napster is still a thing.
Yeah, with .0167 per stream, with 5 million users.
So that's well.
5 million users.
I
who
did
the
not
fuck's
realize
using
Napster was still
I think
a thing.
I know. I mean, I had used it for a while, like when I was like, still was like making CDs all the time and like just burning CDs and stuff. And that was when
Yeah.
like it was a legit service after everything. So and you know people got royalties.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a little surprising. I figured Spotify would be up there since Spotify's like the I would assume like at least in terms of public public perception, probably like the most widely known one,
Yeah.
most widely used one now. Who has the largest install base right now for that? Is it Spotify? I would assume maybe. Or,
If you take out YouTube, it's Spotify.
okay, I mean of course YouTube would be
Yeah.
number one
Yeah.
because I mean it's not just a streaming platform. So
Yeah. So I took a relatively decent sized band, Trivium. Their new song, Sending the Sentence, has 380,000 plays, roughly, last that I saw on Spotify. So if you do the math, they have made $1,444 off of that.
More than I was expecting,
That's
honestly.
pretty good.
Yeah.
For one song.
yeah, I guess yeah.
Now,
That's
their-
just one song, right?
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Their most streamed song is Until the World Goes Cold, about 16 million.
That's off of Silence in the Snow, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean that's like the one Trivium song I've ever heard on the radio. So of course,
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
must be
You're
super
looking
popular.
at about $60,000.
That's pretty solid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can
one song.
make some good bucks off of streaming. I know there's like that
Now,
I mean not as much as other things, but
yeah, that is over a 2-year period of time.
yeah.
But
so,
still, I
as
mean, you about what you said, 60,000 roughly.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's about 30,000 a year. That's like a little less than my yearly salary when I started out was.
That's something nice, like on the side from the touring and
Yeah.
stuff.
That's a nice payout.
but I wonder also how much because I took a class that was all about mass media and stuff, and we learned like artists really only make like I think it was like they barely make all that much money from anything, and it gets even worse for. Well, no, they make a little bit more money from like digital sales because you don't have to pay people. So I'm just curious on again how much is cut up with all that.
Yeah, because there's a lot of pieces that $60,000 has to go to.
Because it's got to go
You
to
know.
the publish. I mean, not the
label.
the label.
Sure, Spotify.
It's got to go
takes some
to
cut.
distributors and
Yeah, and then all the band members, the managers.
yes, it's got to.
That's a lot.
I think there's 5 or 6 different groups like that typically have to get paid every single time a band, gets.
And also, I had this thought too. Like, take Winter Sun for example. You know, they're a popular metal band. They're not pulling those type of numbers or making that type of money, but so you have their new album. It's not on Spotify, but let's just say it is. It's 4 tracks, 54 minutes long. You have a Trivium album that's probably 11 or 12 tracks, about the same length of time, except Trivium's going to make way more money
Because they have more songs.
because they have more songs. Yet Winter Sun is keeping you on the service the same amount of time.
It's kind of
Yeah, that just
it's that
kinda
whole
sucks.
thing with YouTube, how YouTube
Yeah.
changed from views to watch
To
time.
watch time.
Yeah.
Maybe if Spotify implemented a thing about how long you actually spend listening, because that's the thing. does me going through the loot box and just being like, I'm not listening to this.
Yeah, I feel listening to a song right now.
And then every time a song pops up, does that count as a listen? Like,
no.
I feel like you have to listen to a certain amount of the song.
Yeah, you have
for it
to
count
listen
as a
to a
listen.
certain amount of seconds for it to count.
Okay, then I'm mistaken then.
Yeah.
But still, man.
Anyway.
Yeah, same
But
kind
it's
of thing.
still an interesting thought. It's always interesting to look and see how that stuff works and how much they actually make, and still, I mean, compared to other entertainment industries, how little money is in music.
Yeah.
You know, like we sit here and go 60,000. That's not bad for one song, but like
you can do
crazy.
How much
if
of that
you're-
are they actually seeing? How much?
if you're a big actor in a movie and you do a 10-second cameo, you can make a couple million.
Yeah.
yeah,
For showing up in a movie,
Exactly.
and it's like arguably, you could say that that's a lot. You know, a much less.
Jay Cutler.
That's what.
That's a perfect analogy right here.
He's
Though.
making $10 million for 1 year.
It's just like and it's and then you
To probably go out and underperform and be suboptimal.
For him. He's gonna fucking kill it, man.
And then like, what if he gets hurt? And it's like, oh, so you're not even getting that much of a thing. You still paid him this much money, and it's like, no, you're not getting a big return on
even
that.
if he loses some, I'm sure it's like 10 million plus all the incentives. I mean, even if he gets like hurt right away and he misses out on some things, I'm sure he's walking away with at least 8 or 9 million.
Yeah. So it's like,
Well,
just
I'll
have-
take that and walk away and be happy with the rest of my life.
it's like, but
Yeah.
again, like the thought that I was going like with stuff like that, it's like
Instead, that money's going to Jay Cutler.
with like again the walk on role with the cameo in a movie, it's like how less not productive. What's the word I'm looking for? Like,
Sexy.
no, it's just like how much harder it is to write like a good album,
Yeah.
and then this is you just kind of walk on and say a couple lines and not say anything at all, depending on the actor, and it's just like
I mean,
And you make
look
more
at
money.
look at Kevin Smith.
work.
Does he talk in any of his movies?
Yeah, he does now, but
Now.
or time work. Or,
Well, look at Jay and Silent Bob.
yeah, he doesn't say anything. But
Or no,
but
Clerks.
but he's actually
Clerks.
in the movie. Like I'm talking about like Hugh Jackman makes a couple $1 million for showing up for 15 seconds in X-Men First Class.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Or
kind of-
however
How much did
long
he
it
make
was
for,
in.
Apocalypse.
I don't know. That's a good question. I never I never looked that up.
He had to get mad. So that's.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, you gotta
That's
pay
hard.
to psych him up.
You're not don't give him enough money. That'll get him mad enough to psych him up.
Yeah.
yeah. So it's interesting, and this chart also has the amount of plays you need to earn minimum wage. Minimum wage on here. YouTube's at 2.4 million. Spotify's at 380,000. Let's see here.
So apparently, what you're saying is we should stop putting this up on YouTube
just
and put it on
put
Spotify.
yeah, I mean it's crazy. it's a lot of shit.
You make a lot of money on Twitch.
We
I
should
know, I think a lot
start
of people
live
are, like,
streaming the
streaming
breakdown on
No,
Twitch.
no.
Yeah.
That's a terrible thought.
I
But-
say like
with-
one or
with-
two things an episode that shouldn't be.
Should be taken
Should
seriously.
Be out there. And I apologize
You're okay.
for nothing.
You're okay, Sam.
I could say something right now.
Oh.
We'll just bleep it out. Like we did the one time. And
I'll slip it in when no one's paying attention. Everyone's talking about Game of Thrones. I just lean in and say something like offensive.
I'm pretty sure that's happened once or twice. Actually.
Nah.
Everybody said something. Everybody said something that's gonna need to get cut at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah. The only other really big music news thing that I want to talk about, because I think it just sort of sucks. So Jeff Loomis is a fucking awesome guitar player.
Mhm.
He wrote a lot of amazing stuff with Nevermore. He did some solo stuff that's fantastic. He's probably one of the best guitar players out there today. He joined Arch Enemy a few years ago. Arch Enemy's putting out a new album this year, and Jeff Loomis wrote pretty much 0% of anything on the album. Michael Amat, who is the guitar player that's been in Arch Enemy for a while, said that they didn't want to change Arch Enemy's style too much.
What
They
the
wanted
fuck
to
did
keep
they get
doing
in the band?
Exactly. Like, you're going to take somebody that fucking talented and not use them because you're
You're gonna
afraid
gut
to
him.
change
Yeah.
a little bit.
It's like getting Freddie Mercury to sing backup vocals.
Like, motherfucker, you've done album after album, while they're good albums, don't get me wrong, of kind of the same pretty
Type of stuff.
quality melodic death metal, of the same sounding riffs and leads and solos and all that stuff. And now you get somebody that could totally spark and change some stuff for the better, and that's cool. And a lot of people are thinking, I kind of agree, is that, and it could be, this is just theorizing, and I'm not saying it's true or not, because Mike,
Allegedly.
he is a very talented guitar player, but maybe he can't keep up with Jeff Loomis. Jeff Loomis is an insane motherfucker, but that just sucks, because you're just kind of having him in the band as a name and for somebody to tour with, and
I wonder,
I don't know.
I wonder if it's the same kind of thing, because they brought in Alyssa White Gloves or whatever into there, and it's weird because like she was with
The Agonist.
and in that band, she sang a couple of times,
Yeah.
like in a voice, and she has a good singing voice.
Does.
She does, and it's like same kind of thing. It's like you're underutilizing her full talents because she can do that, and it's the same similar kind of thing. It's like they could like basically in a way, I mean, they could grow by having both these people in it, but
They could also go. They could also go the wrong way if they don't do it right,
Yeah.
and I get that. They just want to be in a safe spot. I think the song that Arch Enemy put out is really good. I'm excited for the new album, but it's like, with both her and Jeff Loomis, that's just a great way to really grow your sound and to do something new and exciting, and you're not willing to do that. I don't know.
Yeah. He looked over at like both the right and the wrong time when I was looking something
at
up.
the perfect
I was
time.
looking up Astrid Berg's Frisbee.
from
Because I thought you
from
said
that-
Astrid something. I'm like, oh god, what was that person's name with the
Yeah.
weird name? Even though I'm sure it's not pronounced like that.
It's probably not.
Probably not.
But still,
No.
God,
Asteroid.
All right,
Berg's
let's-
Frisbee.
Yeah.
So let's start
Astrid Berg.
hitting the brakes on this shit train.
New music. Some interesting stuff.
Wendy's
Listen to this new
brought
shit
to you
right
by
now.
Wendy's.
Get it on
Not
Spotify.
really. We're not sponsored by
Yeah.
Wendy's.
Listen on Spotify and give the band 3 cents after
Or
you stream it.
Napster, apparently.
Yeah,
you
exactly.
go to fucking Napster. Bands make a buck. If you want to support a band, go and listen to their shit on Napster.
Yeah.
They make like 1.5 cents on that shit, man.
Yeah. I wonder how much money in total we have given the music industry in loot box after streaming.
That's
as
an
much of it.
I was gonna say we've done a lot of loot box streaming.
Yeah, who knows?
How much
Anyways.
money is the loot box responsible for?
3
I'd say it's a solid
cents?
$3.
Yeah. No, 5. Just because of the sheer size of the loot box.
I'd say 3 because you
Who
understand
knows?
how much it is, because that's like you'd still have to get like, what was it? It was, you still probably have to like 1,000 plays in order to get just a cent.
Alright, so
that's
yeah.
listening to every song once.
$2.
Okay, somewhere between $2 and $3. I would
Yeah,
say.
yeah,
That's probably about right.
yeah. Our contributions are felt.
But I think you're right. I think the loot box has transcended its original purpose.
yeah,
Sounds
fun.
great.
Atriarch with Dead is Truth,
Matriarch. Death metal.
Crash.
Black and Doom.
Black Lagoon. I was way off.
Stuff's pretty heavy. Coromand with Diaspora,
Black metal?
progressive black metal.
Look, I'm half right. There we go. I'll take it.
Some very interesting artwork. Dawn of Disease with Ascension Gate,
Death.
Death metal.
melodic death metal.
Close enough.
Not bad. I've never heard of them, but I was listening to it. It's alright.
Dawn of Disease?
Yeah.
Oh.
Incantation with Profane Nexus.
Power metal.
Heavy metal.
Wizardry.
The
Something.
farthest thing from it. Fucking straight up death metal. This band is insanely heavy. Like, unbelievably heavy. They've been around for a really, really long time.
What's the name of the band?
Incantation.
Okay.
So, yeah, I listen to that. I mean, it's what they are. And that's fine. The Lurking Fear with Out of the Voiceless Grave.
Metal.
The Lurking Fear.
Deathcore.
Bill Cosby.
You got off, man.
Yeah. Well, you
More
got
ways
off a
than
few
one.
times.
Tim Lambesis. Jesus Christ. Nice. Death metal.
That was
I
good.
said that.
I really like that.
Yeah.
Actually, I mean, I shouldn't. That's wrong, but
Yeah.
If I didn't,
Moto
if I didn't
do a
live
lot
here,
of
I could
things
be a
that are
comedian.
wrong.
Yeah. Moto Grader with Desolation.
Moto Grader.
Thrash.
Like Moto.
Hard
Monster
rock.
truck metal.
I don't know. Motor.
Sounds like something they play at the monster truck rallies.
Yeah.
Hard
Or
rock.
something.
New metal / metalcore.
Ah.
Venom Inc. with
Ink like
Av?
incorporated or ink like
Yeah. Incorporated. Oh god. Venom Inc.
Industrial.
Steve Irwin metal.
alternative metal.
Speed / black metal. So
he wrestled a lot of snakes.
this band, this is Venom. Like
I was gonna say.
old school first
I was wondering if it was
inspiration of black metal band Venom, like from the early '80s. Except now it has like an LA Guns Queensryche situation where there's now 2 Venoms,
Oh no.
and this is the other
Fuck.
Venom.
That sucks for
More
every
like
band.
Venom stink.
Yeah,
Am I
probably the hottest album of the year is Hinder with The Rain.
Just rock.
The Ring?
Rock.
Is this like a movie about the movies? I mean, an album about the movies?
Movie about
The
the
Rain.
Movie about
Rain.
The movies.
Yeah.
Oh, they said The Ring.
100 Suns with The Prestolus.
Now, are we saying sons as in like soul or sons in like offspring?
Soul.
Progressive.
Yeah, alternative.
100
Hard
Suns.
rock.
Fuck.
Which kind of sun was it?
Like
In the
soul.
sky.
The sun. In the sky.
Two more. The Judge with Tell It to the Judge.
Southern rock.
TP.
Tell it to the judge.
Alternative.
I don't
Psychedelic.
know.
Fuck.
Last one.
Oh yeah, tell it. Yep.
Roman
Yeah.
Tell it to the
Polanski.
judge. Yeah, I get it.
Poison Blood with Poison Blood E EP.
I'm gonna say
Black
Steve Irwin again.
Some sort of core. I'm gonna say deathcore.
It happened a few
Sting
years
Razor,
ago.
Steve Irwin.
Black metal / punk.
Dicks out for
I feel
Irwin.
like that's a weird combination.
Stingers after.
Oh, God. Alright.
Yep.
Stingers out for Steve.
I said like the same thing at the same time.
We hang out too much.
We do.
Cool!
Yeah.
That's it.
Thanks for listening.
But stingrays, are they stingers or dicks?
No.
I don't think so.
Alright.
That's
Well, that's about it.
Cool.
Alright.